For me, really, I feel like coming out to myself was probably one of the hardest things that I had to do besides coming out to my parents. So I told Amanda, and actually Amanda ended up telling her mother. And her mother did a couple of things. One, she called the Baptist Board of Association. She called the place I was going to be working that summer, it was a camp, and told them. So I got a call that I couldn't come back to work for them unless I changed. But if I changed, I'd give them a call back. And she also called my music minister, who then told my pastor, who then called me and told me that if I didn't tell my parents by a certain date, then he was going to tell them, or else it could split the church in half. I was really nervous. I was really scared. I actually broke out in shingles. I had to make up reasons for why I was stressed out. And I was scared that I could get kicked out of my house. A friend of mine, somebody told her parents that she was gay, and they actually kicked her out when she was still in high school. And I thought my future would be different. I wouldn't be able to go to college. I didn't know what would happen. So I waited to the last minute, but I finally told my mother. My father was out of town. And so I said, "Mom, I'm gay." And she told me I was sick and I was disgusting. I was going to go to hell, die of AIDS. And so later on, my father got home a couple days later. He told me to look and see what I did to my mother because she was lying in her room in the dark for days. But I went through reparation therapy. They grounded me. They said they were treating me the same way they would treat me if I was a drug addict or an alcoholic. Felt like that I would always be a disappointment. I was going to just reparation therapy where they tell you that, I mean, I'm sure it's different places, but that you're not gay, you weren't meant to be gay, you might be gay because of X number of reasons. I think one positive thing that jumps to mind is I did like a school talent show, and so I got up and I was singing a song that I wrote, and I thought it was kind of under the radar that it was about another female, but at the end the MC was like, he said like, that was really bold for you to do that. And then I remember the next day in the hall, there was a teacher that came up and told me that she really liked my song and that if I ever needed to talk about anything, that she was there. And that just felt really like I had a safe place and somebody that maybe I could start talking to. You don't have to call it out, but just be a little bit nicer to them, be a little bit closer, be a little bit more open with them. Make a connection, because a lot of times you're not making those connections with people because you're scared. You're scared somebody's going to find out, or you're hiding pronouns when you're talking about somebody that you like. You're hiding a lot of things about your life. So if somebody kind of comes in close and maybe say some small things that shows that you're open, then that's a really positive thing.
As long as educators have such a powerful and pivotal role in a kid's life, they will constantly affect a lot of where the kid will go and where the kid will end up. I know for a fact, if it wasn't for my teachers or my mentors, I would not be here. You know, there were people that wanted to beat me up, that wanted to cuss me out, that wanted nothing but the worst for me. One of the most vivid memories of that fear, of that anguish, was me walking down the hallways of my high school, and somebody said joto, which in Spanish translates to faggot. And I wanted to run up to that person and make them take it back. You know, don't say that to me. Don't call me that, because I'm not. I'm not a joto, I'm not a faggot, I'm straight. But it was that denial, because I didn't want anybody to find out. If anybody even thought, if anybody even perceived, I knew there was a danger of me losing my family, my friends, and my teachers. And it was scary to me to be outed. I think that is the greatest fear of many people. We have the choice to make that a reality in our lives, and nobody else should push it, should force it, or should claim it, because that's ours. That's something that's very important to us. And I think for me, when I finally claimed it, it gave me a sense of power and it gave me a sense of purpose, which a lot of young people who are gay or who are in the closet don't have. I think my psychology professor, Mr. Broyles, always knew that I was gay. I was always a bit effeminate. You know, I didn't hang out with the guys. I didn't play any sports. So I think he kind of knew there was something different. I remember he gave me this small little button, and I asked him, he just gave it to me. I didn't even look at it, and I was like, why are you giving me this button? He's like, oh, I think you should keep it. And I put it in my pocket, and I completely forgot about it until I was walking home, and then I opened it, and it said, you are loved. And I still have that button because it's a reminder that no matter who I am or what I am doing or what I've done, that I am worthy of love. And that is very important for a student and for a young person to feel that they are worthy of love. A single candle can keep shining even in the deepest darkness. And that's important. Because that one single teacher, that one single friend that gives you and shows you respect and love can mute out all this negativity. Really all you need is one person to continue to build that movement of a safe space, of love and progress. So what we should be addressing is that students who face these issues have somebody, someone, or something that they can lean on to make sure that when times get tough, they don't give up. And I think educators have that power to change the life of many people just by making that student know that they are loved regardless of anything else. Might as well start to learn who we actually are, because we're not that different. We cry the same tears, and we laugh the same laughter, and we crave the same cheesecake. We're humans, you know, and that's what's important, is that at the end of the day, these barriers that we wish to create do nothing more than harm us.
I was very quiet in high school. I wanted to be studious because I didn't want to deal with all the troublemakers. So I didn't really talk to anyone. So my best friend right now, she was my first and last girlfriend. I knew she liked me and I wanted to date her because I knew it would ultimately make my family happy. It would make my mom happy. And you know, I was imagining that down the line I'd get married to her and have kids, you know, just following tradition. And so we dated, and a month in, I started feeling iffy. I didn't realize that myself, but she caught me. She was like, "Peter, what's wrong?" I couldn't tell her right there and then. I couldn't come to terms with myself. So I stepped outside into the car. We sat in the car for 30 minutes, and you know, it was very romantic. You know, the leaves were falling, and you know, we were just holding our hands. And then I told her I was gay. She broke down and started sobbing, and you know, it wasn't. Then that's how we broke up. It didn't go well for the next few months, but we made a pact to each other that we were going to be soulmates. After that, I had to come to terms with my homosexuality. And so I was in a class called IB Visual Arts. And that was where I really learned to come to terms with myself. In that class, my teacher, her name was Miss Luciano, she made us keep a creative journal. And so I would subconsciously write down everything that I would feel because no one would read it, you know? And then it was so messy that I'm pretty sure she didn't even read it. But I actually came out on paper. And when we were asked to turn in our books, I was afraid. But, you know, she gave me back my book and she wrote with sticky notes, you know, asked about how I felt, if she could help. And so truly she is my one and only inspiration, the person that has been by my side from then until now. I still talk to her. After that, you know, I mostly accepted myself, but I didn't fully accept myself until I was forced out, which was a year ago. I was living with my mom's friend, and one night I decided to bring my boyfriend over, and we were in our rooms and, you know, just hanging out. And then my roommate came home. And then the next day at school, my mom called me and she asked me, she asked me in Vietnamese, are you gay? Are you not straight? Are you bent? Is how you would translate it. And so I couldn't do it. I dropped the phone, and you know, I was just crying in the school for probably over an hour. So I couldn't talk to my mom for probably 2 weeks. She wrote me an email, all in Vietnamese, because she didn't know how to express her feelings to me in English completely. And I still have it. It's the most wonderful email I've ever read. But you know, her taking that first step allowed me to actually come out to her. Being gay or not being gay, I think it was all for my mom because I love her. So when she did accept me, I was immensely happy, probably the happiest moment of my life. And from that day on, probably a year ago, I really loved myself.